We are asked to find the derivative of 5x minus 1 over x squared using the first principle. How do we solve this question using the first principle? You see, the first step is to set this function equals to a letter. So I'm going to use y. Let y equals to 5x minus 1 all over x squared. Okay? The next step is that you have to increase x by delta x, and there will also be a corresponding increment in y by delta y. Hence, I'm going to have y plus delta y is equals to 5 into bracket x plus delta x minus 1 all over x plus delta x squared. Okay? Now, having done this, the next step is that you can simplify the the right hand side of the equation. So here I'm going to have y plus delta y is equals to 5 into bracket x plus delta x. Now take the LCM. The LCM of this fraction and this fraction is what? 1 times x plus delta x squared. So I'm going to have x plus delta x squared. That is the LCM. Okay? Now x plus delta x squared divided by 1. That will be what? X plus delta x squared. X plus delta x squared down times 5 into bracket x plus delta x. That means I'm going to have 5 multiplied by x plus delta x multiplied by x plus delta x squared. Are you there? You see, it's just like taking the LCM of normal fraction. If you have something like 1 over a minus 1 over b, the LCM is what? The product of a and b. You understand? That is why I have 1 times this and I have at this. So a and b, a multiplied by b. AB divided by a, that is what? B. B times 1 is what? B. B minus AB divided by B, that is what? A. A times 1 is what? A. That's how I got this. I take the LCM, then I use the LCM to divide 1. I got this and multiply by the numerator. That's how I got this, okay? Now let's proceed to the second aspect. This divided by this, that is 1. 1 times 1 is what? Minus 1. Okay? This negative sign is what you see here. And this divided by this will give us 1. 1 times 1 is what? 1. Okay? Now, having gotten to this point, the next step is that you have to make the delta y the subject of the relation. So I'm going to have delta y is equals to 5 into bracket x plus delta x multiplied by x plus delta x squared minus 1 all over x plus delta x squared. Okay? Minus y. Okay? Now let's proceed. The next step is that you have to replace y by this. You understand? Because from this equation, y equals to what? 5x minus 1 over x raised to the power of 2. So I'm going to have delta y is equals to 5 into bracket x plus delta x plus delta x squared minus 1 all over x plus delta x squared. Okay? Oh, this should be outside the bracket, okay? Should be outside the bracket. It should be outside the bracket. Okay, now let's proceed. Minus, open the bracket, 5x minus 1 over x squared. Okay? Now let's proceed. Delta y is equals to 5 into bracket x plus delta x multiplied by x plus delta x squared all over x plus delta x squared minus 1, okay? Minus 1 minus, now take the LCM of both fractions. The LCM is what? X squared. So x squared divided by 1 is what? X squared. X squared times 5x, that is what? 5x cubed. 5x cubed minus x squared divided by x squared, that is 1. 1 times 1 is what? 1. So that's how I got this, okay? Now, please kindly pay attention. From this point, I'm going to have delta y is equals to, now, we want to expand this bracket. So, I want to pay attention. It's simple, okay? What we want to do now is that we want to expand this bracket. Okay? So, let us proceed. 5 times x, 5x, I'm going to have 5x. 5 times positive delta x, that is what? 5 delta x. Okay, so I'm done with this. Let us expand the second bracket, which is what? X plus delta x squared. Okay, x plus delta x squared will give us x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared. Do you understand? Okay, we still have minus 1. We still have minus 1. Okay, so all over x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared. Okay, minus, now I want you to pay attention. Minus 5 minus multiplied by 5s cubed. That will be what? Negative 5s cubed. So I'm going to have minus 5s cubed plus 1 all over x squared. Okay? Now, the next step is that, okay, let us take the expansion of this. You see, when you are dealing with differential calculus, especially when you are solving differential calculus using the product rule, using the first principle, you must know how to take expansion. You understand? You must know how to expand your term. So, if there is anything I will advise you, make sure you practice more on how to expand a bracket. Now, let us use this bracket to open this bracket. Here, we are going to have delta y is equals to 5x times x squared. That is what? 5x raised to the power of 3. 5x times 2x delta x. That is what? Plus 10x squared delta x. 5x times delta x squared. That is what? Plus 5x delta x squared. Okay? Now, hey, I don't think this space can size it all. We are still going to have 5 delta x times x squared. That is what? 5x squared delta x. I don't think this space can size it. And nevertheless, I'm going to make sure that you understand, okay? Let me erase this. Because of the space, we're going to have something like this. Delta y is equals to, okay, 5x times x squared, that is what? 5x goes to the power of 3. 5x times 2x, that's what? Plus 10x squared delta x. 5x times delta x squared, that's what? Plus 5x delta x squared. Okay, 5 delta x times x squared, that is what? Plus 5x squared delta x. 5 delta x times 2x delta x, that is what? Plus 10x delta x squared. 5 delta x times delta x squared, that is what? Plus 5 delta x cubed. You understand? All over x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x cubed, delta x squared. You understand? So minus 5x raised to the power of 3 plus 1 all over x raised to the power of 2. So you can see that, you see what I did here is that I just used what I have in this bracket to open this second bracket. And what was that? This times this will give us this. 5x times this will give us 10x squared delta x. 5 delta x, okay, 5x times delta x squared, that will give us this. Okay? And 5 delta x times this will give us 5x squared delta x. You understand? 5 delta x times this, that is 10x delta x squared. 5 delta x times this, I'm going to have 5 delta x cubed. You understand? Okay? Now, is there any term that we can have together in this numerator? Let's check. We have 10x squared here, 10x squared delta x, and we have 5x squared delta x. We can have both of them together. So I'm going to have delta y, please pay attention, is equals to 5x raised to the power of 3. Please kindly pay attention. 10x squared delta x plus 5x squared delta x, that is what? 15x squared delta x plus 15x squared delta x. 5x delta x squared plus 10x delta x squared, that is what? Plus 15x delta x squared. Okay, then plus 5 delta x cubed all over x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x cube, delta x squared. Now, please, I want you to pay attention. Do you know how I got negative 5x cubed plus 1? I opened this bracket using this negative sign, but in an attempt to help you to simplify the question, in an attempt to help you to simplify the solution, let us rewrite this, okay, at this side. So I'm going to have minus 5x raised to the power of 3 minus 1 all over x squared. Okay? Now, the next step is that you have to take the LCM. The LCM of this fraction and this fraction will be what? I'm going to have delta y. What is the LCM? The LCM will be the product of this and this. The LCM will be the product of this and this. So I'm going to have x plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared multiplied by x raised to the power of 2. Okay? Now, this divided by this, that's what? X squared. X squared times this, I'm going to have x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 5x raised to the power of 3 plus 15x raised to the power of 2 delta x plus 15x delta x raised to the power of 2 plus 5 delta x raised to the power of 3. Okay? Now, I hope this will contain, okay? Now, this divided by this, that is what? X2x delta x. This piece cannot contain the solution, okay? Let's look at what we can do. Please kindly pay attention, okay? It's simple. You know, this side cannot contain the solution, so I'm looking. Are you done with this? If you are done, let us erase it so as to provide, as to give space for our solution. So let us erase this, okay? Let us erase this. We need space for the solution. And the reason is because we have many expansion in the solution, you understand? So let us erase this as well. So let us take the LCM now. Let us take the LCM. The LCM of this and this will be what? I'm going to have delta y is equals to, the LCM of this and this will be x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared multiplied by x squared. Okay, so this divided by this, that is what? X squared. So I'm going to have x squared multiplied by all the numerator. Okay, x squared multiplied by all the numerator. I'm going to have x squared into bracket 5x raised to the power of 3 plus 15x raised to the power of 2 delta x plus 15x raised to the power of delta x squared plus 5 delta x raised to the power of 3. Okay, minus, now this negative sign is what you see here. Sorry, there is negative 1 here. Sorry, there is negative 1. Don't forget, there is negative 1. See, there is negative 1 at the top of this place. So I'm going to have this negative 1 minus 1 minus 1. Okay, we're going to have minus 1, close the bracket. You see, please kindly pay attention. There is negative 1 here. I forgot to put it, so I've already added it. Okay, so that's why I have minus 1 in this place. Okay, so now here I'm going to have, please kindly pay attention. Here I'm going to have this negative sign will be here. You understand? Because what we are doing now is that we are taking the LCM. Okay, and LCM simply means the lowest common multiples. So this sign that you see here is what I replaced here. Now all this divided by this, I'm left with what? X squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared. All this multiplied by the denominator, I'm going to have, open the bracket, 5x raised to the power of 3 minus 1 multiplied by x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x raised to the power of 2. Okay, so now let us proceed. For this, I'm going to have delta y is equals to, now open the bracket, x raised to the power of 2 times 5x raised to the power of 3. That is what? 5x raised to the power of 5. X raised to the power of 2 times positive 15x raised to the power of 2. That is what? Plus 15x raised to the power of 4 delta x. X raised to the power of 2 times 15x delta x squared. That is what? Plus 15x raised to the power of 3 delta x raised to the power of 2 plus x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 5 delta x raised to the power of 3. That is what? Plus 5x raised to the power of 2 delta x raised to the power of 3. Okay? Raised to the power of 3. X raised to the power of 2 times negative 1. That will be what? Negative x raised to the power of 2. Please, do you understand what I'm doing? All I'm doing is that I'm just using this x raised to the power of 2 to multiply all the terms that I have in this bracket. So this x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by negative 1, that's what? Negative x raised to the power of 2. Okay? Now, minus 5x raised to the power of 3 times x raised to the power of 2. That is what? 5x raised to the power of 5. 5x raised to the power of 3 times 2x delta x. That is what? Plus 10x raised to the power of 4 delta x plus 5x raised to the power of 3 delta x raised to the power of 2 negative. Please, do you know why I got this? I multiply 5x raised to the power of 3 by delta x squared. That's how I got this. And I multiply 5x raised to the power of 3 by 2x delta x. That's how I got 10x raised to the power of 4 delta x. You understand? Okay, negative 1 times all this as well. I'm going to have negative x squared, negative 2x delta x, and negative delta x squared. Okay, you can see that it's a very long solution. Yes, it's a long solution. Okay, delta x squared is a long solution. So when you are solving this in exam, kindly pay attention to your expansion. Okay, now let us proceed. All this will be divided by, let's divide, all this will be divided by x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by x raised to the power of 2. Okay? Now, for this, we're going to have delta y is equals to 5x raised to the power of 5 plus 15x raised to the power of 4 delta x plus 15x raised to the power of 3 delta x raised to the power of 2 plus 5x raised to the power of 2 delta x raised to the power of 3 minus x squared minus, now what I'm doing now is that I want to use this negative sign to multiply all the terms that are inside the bracket. So I'm going to have negative 1 times negative 5, negative 1 times 5x raised to the power of 5. That is what? Negative 5 x raised to the power of 5, negative 10 x raised to the power of 4 delta x, negative 5 x raised to the power of 3 delta x raised to the power of 2, positive x squared, positive 2x delta x, and positive delta x raised to the power of 3. Do you know what I did? I used this negative sign to open all the brackets. And if you multiply negative sign by negative x squared, you're going to have positive x squared. Negative 1 times negative 2x delta x. I'm going to have positive 2x delta x. Negative 1 times negative 2 delta x squared. I'm going to have positive delta x squared. Okay, delta x squared. Now, this all over x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x raised to the power of 2 x raised to the power of 2. Okay, now we have gotten to this point. Now look at the numerator that we have. Look at the numerator. Is there any term that can cancel or that can add up to each other? If there is, let us check. We are having 5x raised to the power of 5. We are having positive 5x raised to the power of 5 and negative 5x raised to the power of 5. So this can cancel this. Is there any term again? Is there any term that can cancel each other again? Let's check. Here we are having negative x squared and we are having positive x squared. So this can cancel this. Okay? Is there any term again? Is there any term that can cancel each other? Okay, if there is none, I don't think there is none. So we proceed. Let us proceed. Now, I'm very sure you are done with the previous steps. So I'm going to erase this. You can see that this solution is long. Okay, so if you are dealing with this question in exam hall, if you are solving this question in exam hall, it's very, very important that you pay attention to your expansion. So let me erase this as well. So we have gotten to this point. So here, this is the question. So here I'm going to have delta y is equals to 15x raised to the power of 4 delta x. And we have 10x raised to the power of 4. See, there are some terms that can add up to each other. Look, we are having 15x raised to the power of 4 delta x here. And we have negative 10 raised to the power of 4 delta x here. If you add both together, 15x raised to the power of 4 delta x minus 10x raised to the power of 4 delta x. That will give us 5x raised to the power of 4 delta x. The reason why we can add these together or subtract them from each other is because both of them ask the same power. You understand? The value of the power of x is the same. You understand? For both terms. So we can add them together and we can subtract together. So if you subtract this, you are going to have delta y equals to 5x raised to the power of 4 delta x, because 15 minus 10 is 5. Okay? So we are done with this. We are done with this. We have 15x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared. So let us subtract as well. 15x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared minus 5x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared. What will be the answer? That will be 10x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared. So I'm going to have plus 10x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared. Okay? Now, so we are done with this as well. Okay? Do we have anything like 5x squared delta x cubed? 5x squared delta x cubed. There is none. So we proceed as 5 plus 5x squared delta x cubed. Okay? Plus 5x squared delta x cubed. And then minus. Okay, you are done with this. You are done with this. Plus 2x delta x plus 2x delta x, then plus delta x raised to the power of 3 all over x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared multiplied by x raised to the power of 2. Well, you can also open the denominator, you understand? Let us even open it, okay? Let us multiply the denominator. Let us multiply this bracket. Please kindly pay attention. We are going to have x squared times x squared, that is what? X raised to the power of 4. Sorry. Something is wrong here. X squared times x squared, that is what? X raised to the power of 4. And x squared times 2x dx, x squared times 2x dx, that is what? Plus 2x raised to the power of 3 delta x. Delta x squared times x squared, that is what? Plus x squared delta x squared. Okay? Now, from this point, the next step is that we are going to multiply both sides by 1 over delta x. So here I'm going to have this multiplied by 1 over delta x and all this multiplied by 1 over delta x. You understand? So I'm going to have delta y all over delta x is equals to. Now, do you know what I'm doing? What I'm doing is that I'm going to use this delta x to divide all the denominator. You understand? So 5x raised to the power of 4 divided by delta x, that will be what? 5x raised to the power of 4 plus 10x raised to the power of 3 divided by 10x raised to the power of 3 delta x squared divided by delta x, that is what? 10x raised to the power of 3 delta x plus, okay, 5x raised to the power of 2 delta x cubed delta x squared divided by delta x, that is what? 5x raised to the power of 2 delta x. Okay, 2x delta x divided by delta x, that is what? 2x plus 2x plus delta x cubed divided by delta x, that is what? Delta x squared. Okay, so you can see, now let's proceed. All over, sorry, I think something is wrong with me. All over x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x raised to the power of 3 delta x plus x raised to the power of 2 delta x squared. Okay, now you can see that we are almost done. The next step is that you have to limit delta x as it tends to 0. Okay, you have to limit delta x as delta x tends to 0. So I'm going to have dy all over dx lim delta x as delta x tends to 0. So I'm going to have delta y all over delta x is equal to, the meaning of this statement is that anywhere I see delta x in the right hand side of the equation, I'm going to replace it as 0. Okay, so here I'm going to have 5x raised to the power of 4, 5x raised to the power of 4 plus 10x raised to the power of 3 multiplied by 0 plus 5x raised to the power of 2, 0 plus 2x plus 0 squared. Okay, all over x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x raised to the power of 3 multiplied by 0 plus x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 0 squared. Okay, now, so for this, we're going to have dy all over dx is equals to 5x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x all over x raised to the power of 4. Okay, and you can simplify it as dy all over dx is equals to 5x. Okay, let us erase this. Let us erase this, okay? So I'm going to have dy all over dx is equals to 5x raised to the power of 4 all over x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x all over x raised to the power of 4. You understand? So dy all over dx is equals to 5 plus 2 all over x raised to the power of 3. That is the solution to that question. I'm very sure you understood. If you didn't understand, kindly reverse the video and listen to the explanation again. Okay, so you can see how we are expanding. When you are dealing with differential calculus, especially involving the using the first principle, you have to know how to expand, okay? And you have to know how to simplify. Do you understand? So that will be all for this class. The solution to the derivative of 5x all over 5x minus 1 over x squared is 5 plus 2 all over x raised to the power of 3. That is the final answer, okay?